Tell me about the discussion when you said, "Hey, I'm making music now."
You know, I'm one of those guys who believes that education is important, no matter what it is. You know, if it could be anything. If it's not, it doesn't have to be a professional or a major degree, but some form of formal education is definitely important because, you know, entertainment and arts is not a guaranteed business. It's 50-50. Sometimes the odds are even against you. You know, so I think you always have to have a backup plan or some form of education that would give you an edge in the entertainment field. So I mean, it was a very interesting discussion when I told my dad that I was gonna be doing music. I think it was funny because he had just gotten me a job like a week before, and when I had the job interview, and the guy was like, "Okay, fine, when can you start?" It's like, "Oh, I'll start on Monday." I was like, "Okay, cool." So when I was leaving the clinic, a friend of mine who I went to school with was working there. I was like, "Oh, hey, dude, yeah, you okay?" I was like, yeah. I said, "Dude, just tell me now, how much do they pay you?" The guy was like 45,000 naira a month, which now is probably the equivalent of £200. Do you know what I'm saying? And I said, "What are the hours?" The guy said 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday. And I thought to myself, at that point in time, I was doing gigs, like weekly gigs, and then sometimes I'd have like 3 or 4 gigs in a weekend. And I was getting 45,000 a show. So I would probably make about 115 a weekend, and I'm gonna sit in a clinic for those hours and end out.
For a whole month?
I just said, I didn't even show up. I didn't even call to say I wasn't coming. I just, just went into the studio the next week and started working on my album, and that led me to connect back with Don Jazzy and the band when they came down because they were looking for a studio to recording. And then I was like, "Oh, dude, we had met in London when I was doing my elective at King's College London." So we just like, "Oh, my dude, boy, I want to do this music thing. Oh, when I get buzz right now, how wanna feel help your guy?" And Don Jazzy was like, "You know what? Hey, fine, come on." The band was like, "We're cool, we're friends. We can help each other out," and the rest they say is history.
Absolutely. The first project that you had or made with the Mohits family was I think it was the CV collective thing, where everybody kind of showcased their talents, and you were on like 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever tracks on that album. How was that for you, being that you had been working at the album, you'd worked with tribesmen before, and then you had the opportunity to work with the Mohits crew. You wanted to make your own album, but the first project that came out was a collective album. What was that decision like for you?
I mean, we did kind of have a schedule in Mohits Records, and the first name on that schedule was the band had been out there. Well, we needed to introduce. Don Jazzy wanted to introduce a record label, Mohits, and introduce all the artists he had on there. So the first project was to get the Mohits All Star CV album out. Use that album to introduce One Day Cole, because One Day Cole was pretty much on every single track on the album. One Day Cole, and then everybody has their own spot on the album. So, okay, we know One Day Cole really well, but then we're also aware of these other artists who are waiting in the wings to come out. That's why after the Mohits Also CV project, there was the Banjo's album, The Entertainer, and then there was One Day Cole's Mushing to Mohits. So, I mean, the process of the Mohits Also CV album was amazing. We just went to Abuja for 3 months, rented a huge apartment, and we just stayed in there for 3 months and made music.
And just banged it out.
Yeah.